10 healthy habits that you can literally do for
if you want to start living a healthier lifestyle, but
These are 24 habits I highly suggest you start doing in 2024.
5 healthy habits that will make.
If you've been on the internet in the past couple of years, I bet you're feeling overwhelmed with all the habits that you are supposed to be doing. But what if the habits that actually work are those that nobody is talking about? I'm a psychologist, and today I will be sharing with you 6 evidence-based habits that completely transformed my life. And trust me, you have not heard these ones before. I can promise you that implementing even one of these habits could completely change your life. If you think that psychologists don't struggle with their mental health, then think again. Because even with my psychology background, I struggled with my mental health for years. And when I was trying to change my life, I was trying to implement all of these habits that I was reading about online, but none of them seemed to work. They were nice to do, but they didn't actually change anything for me. So I decided to do some research and applying science and psychology to build habits that, first of all, were not too overwhelming, and that, second of all, could actually have a great impact on my overall physical and mental health. Today I will be sharing them with you, so go and get pen and paper, because trust me, you will want to write this down. And whilst you do that, hi, my name is Bri. I'm a pre-qualified psychologist working in London and on an exciting path to become a clinical psychologist. On this channel, I like to share psychology insights and lessons I learned from my life and my career to help you live a healthier, happier and more productive life. So if that sounds like something that might interest you, then you should subscribe and stick around. The first habit we're gonna talk about are cold showers. And please, hear me out before you leave this video. I am from the south of Italy, okay? I like the warm. I cannot tolerate cold for the life of me. So when I first read about cold shower, I didn't even want to hear it until I tried it out. And it works. I'm sorry guys, it works. Like literally there is nothing I can do about it. It works. And I know it works because for a few weeks I tracked with my Oura ring the effect that the cold shower were having on me, and actually I had a significant improvement in my resting heart rate that is a good indicator of overall health. But not only, because taking cold shower can have profound impact on your mental health as well. In fact, the research shows that when we expose ourselves to cold, we experience something called the dive reflex. That is something that all mammals have when they are exposed to cold water. So the thing here is that humans are made for survival. So whenever we are in any kind of distressing or uncomfortable situation, Madam Brain will do whatever she can to ensure the highest chances of survival. So when we are exposed to cold water, she will want to preserve as much energy as she can. So our breath will slow down, our heart rate will reduce, and we will be put in a state of relaxation because we need to preserve as much energy as possible. And that kind of makes sense, because imagine actually drowning in iced water. That extreme circumstance, you need to have as much energy as possible in order to survive. And Madam Brain doesn't really know the difference between us drowning in iced cold water versus us just taking a cold shower. Like, she will do exactly the same thing in both circumstances, which in this case is putting us in a state of relaxation. This state is called rest and digest. That is the opposite of fight or flight, the state our body experiences when we are under stress. What this means is that by exposing yourself to cold water, you can reduce symptoms of stress and anxiety, which for me is great because I am not the best when it comes to managing stress. So I will do whatever I can to lower my cortisol level and lower my stress levels. Studies also found that exposure to cold water can increase dopamine levels by 250%. Just as a context, dopamine is responsible for pleasure and reward, which can can help decreasing symptoms of depression or just low mood. Cold water exposure has been linked to increased resilience, but also a sense of empowerment, because we basically just put ourselves in a difficult situation, so we will feel very happy and proud about ourselves. And feelings of empowerment are a great tool to combat negative views of ourselves, which in turn can increase our self-esteem. But I totally get that cold showers are not everyone's cup of tea. So if you still want to do something that boosts your mood without stepping into a cold shower or ice bath, then the second habit is for you, and that is walks during lunchtime. Now, I'm sure that you've all heard about the positive impacts that walking can have on our physical health and even mental health. And walking in general is great, but what really helped me was going on intentional walks during my lunchtime. Now, I'm a type A person. I don't like going on aimless walks. My walk needs to have a goal. So usually I will go out and use my walk as an excuse to get a coffee or a snack, something that I really want, which will also work as an incentive for me to actually leave my desk. The reason why this small habit really helped me is just because sometimes when I am very overwhelmed with my work, and bear in mind I'm a psychologist in a psychiatric hospital, so it's very easy to get overwhelmed in those kinds of environment. Going on a walk helped me regain my mental clarity and also boost my mood. Like, I always feel happier after a walk. Research shows that walking can have a positive impact on mood and can reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. Going on a walk can also offer mental relaxation and reflection. So if you're stressed at work or trying to solve a problem, going on a walk could actually be a solution, because I always get my best ideas when I go on a walk. Sometimes our bad mood and our crankiness can easily be resolved by stepping outside. Sometimes walking outside can offer a change of perspective. It can relieve stress and mental fatigue, evoking calmness and reflective thoughts. And if you can go with your co-workers, even better, because research shows that group walking can offer opportunities to social interaction, strengthening friendships, expressing interests, and creating a sense of belonging, which can help combat feelings of loneliness and isolation, which we all feel too much in this modern society, let's be honest. Also, going on a walk can increase a sense of accomplishment and achievement, because at the end of the day, even just by standing up and going on a little walk, you have achieved a mini goal for the day, which will make you feel better about yourself. This can in turn improve self-esteem. And finally, actually enjoying your surroundings is one of the 7 types of rests, and it is in the category of creative rest. If you're feeling creative burnout, so if you can't come up with new idea or you're struggling to find solutions to problems, going outside and enjoying your surroundings, whatever they may be, because I am of the opinion that there is always beauty that you can admire, and that will really help you spark your creativity, inspiration, and problem-solving skills. If you're interested in this holistic approach to mental health, then you will enjoy so much the next habit, that is diverse eating, because yes, what we eat has a great impact on our mental health as well. I always talk about our core needs foundation, which basically means taking care of our basic needs first, because without them it is impossible to go about our everyday responsibilities, let alone achieve our goals. The food that we eat is part of this, because not only what we put in our body will affect our physical health and our energy levels, but it will have an enormous impact on our mental health. And to understand this, we need to talk a little bit about the gut-brain axis. That is basically a way of communication between the gut and the brain. These two constantly communicate with each other and exchange information. So the gut does not only digest your food, but it also plays a huge role in how you think, feel, and manage your stress levels. Studies show that 90% of serotonin, that is a feel-good hormone, like an hormone that makes you feel happier, is produced in the gut. Gut bacteria can also influence GABA receptors and dopamine levels, an inflammation marker that all regulates our mood, how we feel about ourselves, and our stress levels. So overall, taking care of your eating habits can lead to improved mood, reduced stress and anxiety, better cognitive functions and mental clarity, better sleep, and lower inflammation. And the easiest way to improve your gut health is to have a diverse diet. So every day when I'm choosing what to eat, I will always ask myself, what is something that I haven't eaten in a while? And usually I go with that for either lunch or dinner. It is a very easy and simple habit to make sure that you feed your gut microbiome with a lot of diverse foods. Also, trying to introduce fibers and fermented foods within your diet is a great way to take care of your gut. So something that you can introduce in your diet are foods like legumes, kimchi, kefir, or even a wide variety of vegetables. So you can try those vegetables that you've never tried before, or you can try to cook them in different ways. But if our physical health is important, our mindset is equally and sometimes even more important. And mindset is at the core of habit number 4, that is, listen to something motivational or inspiring in the morning. This habit in particular completely changed my life. You can consume something motivational or inspirational in the morning through a YouTube video, a book, an audiobook, a motivational song. It doesn't really matter. The idea here is that you need to absorb positive and uplifting topics in the morning in order to set your brain for success for the entire day. But let me explain why from a scientific and psychological perspective. Our brains create schema based on what we expect to see or experience, which basically means that our brain have the ability to create completely different realities depending on what we experience, but also on what we decide to put our attention towards to. In psychology, this is called cognitive priming. And the idea is that by consuming something that is positive, educational, or inspiring, your brain will use that as a filter for how you interpret the world around you. So if in the morning you listen to something that is uplifting or growth oriented, then you're more likely to see opportunities instead of threats, progresses instead of problems, and lessons instead of setbacks. More generally, you will see the positive rather than the negative. And this is backed up by science. In fact, research shows that by listening to something inspiring or goal-oriented, you can stimulate pathways in your brain associated with drive and motivation. And this is especially true if what we listen taps into our values or the person that we want to become. So if you listen to something that is strictly related to your goals and your future self. In addition, consuming content that is aligned with your future self can also reinforce your self-narrative, which basically means it will reinforce positive stories that you tell about yourself and about the person that you are becoming. It can literally help you make a quantum leap from the current version of yourself to the best version of yourself. And finally, and I dare say most importantly, listening to something motivational or inspiring in the morning will keep you away from social media, which means that you won't tune into toxic social drama, stressful work emails, or anxiety-provoking world news. In this way, you will avoid a flight response from your brain first thing in the morning, which basically means hijacking it for the rest of the day. Now, habit number 5 is a little bit scary, but trust me, mastering this could completely change your mental health for the better. And the habit is check your bank account every single day. I know it's scary, but I promise you, if you start doing it every day, it's gonna become easier and easier. Studies show that money stress is one of the most common sources of anxiety, especially among women. And as you know from this channel, knowledge is power. And knowing more about your finances and what you're putting your money into is the first step to overcome money anxiety and stress. Even if it's scary at first, checking your account every day will over time reduce your financial uncertainty. That is basically the most common trigger for anxiety and stress related to money, is basically not knowing how much we have, how much we spent, where are we putting our money, whether we will be able to get at the end of the month with enough money in our bank account. Also, psychologically, checking your account every day will give you a sense of agency. The belief that you are in control of your finances and of your life, not the other way around. Alongside this, I think improving your financial literacy, so knowing how to invest, how to manage your pension, how to budget, is extremely important to combat financial stress. And I've made a whole video about how to change your relationship with money that I'm going to leave somewhere here. Overall, checking your account, reviewing your financial situation constantly, and tracking your spending, you will increase your sense of self-efficacy. That is your belief in your ability to manage your finances, which means less stress and improved mental health. And finally, my favorite habit, the one that most of all has had a huge impact on my life, and that is planning for the week ahead. Now, I know that you might have heard this before, but there is a caveat, because I don't do it for the reason that you think. I don't do it for productivity reason, I literally just do it for my mental health. Let me explain. So I start by doing a small reflection on the week that has just passed. I usually do that on my all-in-one Notion template that it includes a weekly review. So I start reviewing the challenges that I experienced, but also my achievements and the lessons that I learned that week. This helps me live my life more mindfully and with more intention. Reflecting on your week not only will allow you to plan for the week ahead, but it will also make sure that your life doesn't slip by without you even realize it. After doing that, I will then start planning my week ahead. I will review my calendar commitments and I will note down all the different tasks that I have to complete for every day of the week. I also try to make a rough workout and meal plan to know which workouts I'm doing every single day of the week, and also what will my meals be for the rest of the week. I don't do this for productivity's sake, although it does help me be more productive. I do it to reduce my decision fatigue and cognitive load. Let me explain. Research shows that planning reduces the mental effort required to process the tasks that we need to do. Making decisions every day costs Madam Brain lots of energy. And usually when we have to make a lot of decisions in a given day, we arrive in the evening with very little energy. This can impact our day-to-day, because by making decisions on minor things that we could have planned beforehand, we waste precious energy that we could be spending on more important things, such as achieving our goals, for example. And that is why I plan my week in advance, so that I reduce the amount of decisions that I have to take every day. I already know what I'm gonna eat, I already know what kind of workout I'm going to do, I already know what tasks do I need to complete and when. And I know all of this because my past self did that for me already, leaving me with lots of energy to dedicate to other more important tasks. In addition, planning in advance gives the poor Madam Brain certainty and structure. When we don't know what is going to happen, our brain goes in fight or flight mode. So by planning our week in advance, we can reduce the ambiguity in our lives, giving our nervous system a sense of stability, which can in turn reduce stress and anxiety. And finally, by using your Sundays to plan for the week ahead, you can reduce the Sunday scaries, as you will be more ready to tackle the week that is going to come. And this brings us to the end of the video. Let me know in the comments which habit was your favorite and which one you're going to do and which one you're going to avoid like the plague. If you like this video, you might also want to check this video here, where I talk about the 4 supplements that I take every day. Or you might want to watch this video here that YouTube has picked up just for you based on your personal interests. So I will see you over there, or I will see you in the next video. Bye!